Okay, so today's video, I'm actually winging it slightly, if I am perfectly honest, because I thought I'd have a play around with something a little bit different, a little bit abstracty, and so I hope you guys are on board and enjoy that. So I asked in the group if you guys had any requests for this month. I always ask you if you've got any requests, but please always just leave requests. I do this for you guys, so I want to make you happy. And so yeah, you guys said that you would like snowdrops this month, so I'm totally on board with that. And so I thought I'd do something a little bit different. In my nature, I've got a nature journal that I've recently started, and I must show you that sometime. And in there is where I'd probably do like more of my just illustrations, and believe me, I am very much learning nature botanical illustrations. That is not something that is something that I'm particularly au fait with, but I'm learning. But for this, I thought I would kind of incorporate this with something a little bit more abstracty. So I'm going to do some snowdrops, but as I said, I'm going to try and be a bit on the abstract kind of vein. So I hope you enjoy this process. Firstly, I'm going to start with some sketching of my snowdrops. Snowdrops are so beautiful, aren't they? It's such a nice time of year. So they I'm doing this like really lightly because I don't really want my pencil marks to show all that much. But they have like these little leaves that come round, and they have this little cap on the top here, and then they have these little skirty kind of flowers like that. So I'm going to draw a couple. When I say a couple, I actually mean 3. Because I tend to do things in threes. That's usually a way, like a lot of design led things. Do I like that there? I'm not sure if I like that on top. I'm not sure that I do like that just straight on top of that one. I feel like that looks like it's growing out of that one rather than a new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and leave some of this area white so that I could turn it into a journal card, so there's a bit of space to write. That's the plan. Let's see. Space won't come down here. So yeah, really rough sketches, and I'm going to leave it in. I'm going to leave my rough sketches in because as I say, I don't want it to stand out and be the kind of like the main focus, but I'm quite happy if you still see some of the lines in there, but I don't want them to be the main focus. When I'm drawing snowdrops, also when I'm drawing, I've only ever drawn snowdrops once before, and that was last year. If you were a patron last year, you would have received in the collage sheets, I did some snowdrop wreaths. And that was the first time I've ever drawn snowdrops. I keep thinking of Snowdrop because my little guinea pig's called Snowdrop, because we got her at the time of the snowdrops. But whenever I draw snowdrops, I always think of the flower fairies. I love the snowdrop flower fairies. Right, so I've got 3. I've got a cluster of 3 in there, which I'm happy with that actually. I think the good thing about snowdrops is they don't have to be full on like accurate, or flowers in general. Do you know what I mean? You can just be very artistic with them. Very artistic. Okay, maybe I need a few more leaves in there. That's a bit better, isn't it? Just the illusion of leaves anyway. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to get quite abstracty and I'm going to use a lot of paint, but the flowers, I want to leave them white, so I'm going to use some masking liquid to mask them off. You guys know that this is one of the techniques that I love using, masking fluid. This masking fluid is the Molotow one. This is supposed to be the refill for the pen. I do have the pen as well. Now the pen is very fine, a very fine nib, but I don't really want to use a fine, so I'm going to use this straight from here. And I'm going to just basically use this to paint in the flowers. Need to get rid of that bubble there. So I'm just going to paint in the flowers. Now, if you're new to masking fluid, if you've never used masking fluid before, it's an amazing supply. So I want to get pop you bubble, won't pop. So I'm painting it all in, and when it dries, it becomes like a rubbery kind of feel, and it means that you can paint over it with watercolor, and then once you're done and it's dry, you can just peel it off, and as it says, it masks the area where you had painted it, and you just peel it off and it will be all nice and white inside. So it means we won't have to go over with like a paint pen or acrylic paint or anything and make it white, which is good. Okay, so got a few bubbles in there that I don't want, but never mind. Okay, the thing is, you do need to let that dry fully before you start your painting, so you just have to be patient, and it doesn't really work with a heat gun. So you just have to be patient and leave it. I might actually put a few little dabs around the place, almost to make it look like snow. And the other thing, I'm going to pop some of them bubbles actually. If you use brushes, this stuff wrecks brushes, so if you use brushes, please make sure that you clean your brushes straight away, otherwise they get wrecked because it becomes gum. And the thicker you use this, the longer it takes to dry. Come on, pop. So yeah, these big thick bubbles, they will take longer to dry than the little ones. Okay, so yeah, just gonna leave that to dry. And while that's drying, I'm gonna think about the colours that I'm gonna use. This Distress Stain is on my table, and so I feel like I might give that a go. That is a twisted citron. And have I got any? What is this piece of paper here on the side of my desk? Oh, cool. I'm going to use this scrappy-doo bit here and just test the colour of this. Yeah, I think we'll go in with some of that, and I might do that around the edges actually. I want to get watery and messy. I'm going to use watercolours, and then I might at the very end go over with some acrylic paint. I want it to get watery and messy, and I want all the colours to blend with each other. That is the theory. I've also grabbed out this, it's pearlescent, it's liquid acrylic ink. Let's give it a bit of a shake. I feel like this might be nice to use, go over and use on the whites of the snowdrops. I think that might be quite nice to use. And then just sort of like some splats and dabs, that kind of thing. I was recently sent this pen as part of the competition I won from Sketch and Story UK on Instagram. It's a brush marker. I've never used it before, Karin, and it's in olive green. And I thought that might be nice to use to go in afterwards for the stalks. Just smudge that, doesn't matter. We're going abstracty, so it doesn't matter. I thought that I wasn't sure whether I was going to use acrylic, but I might use pen. We'll see. I'm just going to have a little test because this is new to me. So just have a little test to see if it's waterproof. Pretty waterproof. It's a little bit of bleed on the edges there. So maybe I'll do that at the end. I was thinking maybe I'll do that at the beginning. Yeah, maybe I'll do that at the very end. So there's some of the things that I want to use. This is just copy paper, like, you know, printer paper. So yeah, it's just lots of water on there to see if it was really waterproof. So it's kind of wrecked it. Yes. So that is my thinking. And so is there anything else? I might use the Dilutions mica spray. This is supposed to be blue, but it's pretty naff, but it's quite good to get things moving around. If you don't want to use water, it's quite cool. It does have a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it's not blue, but it does have a shimmer, so it is quite cool just to use to kind of get things moving around and stuff. And then some watercolours, but I'm thinking of using some different, I want to get some different colours going in there. Some different colours. I want to go abstracty. No, I don't want them. Oh, decisions to do. Kind of tempted with a bit of like pink or something. I might do that at the very end. Yeah, I'll probably do that at the very end to go in with like a different something quite different. So I'm going to shut up and turn the camera off because we need to wait for this gum to dry properly before we can get crack-a-lacking. Okie dokie then, so waiting for that to dry is a good opportunity to go and make yourself a nice cup of tea. Yeah, it's dry, it's tacky. Oh, that bit's a bit wet. That's okay, we'll work with that. I'm going to work over here first. So, gonna get wet. I'm going to go big, go big, go big, go big. Oh, this is, I don't use it very often, but it is just look at it, it's beautiful. It's a 1-inch oval wash, and it's just, look at that, just gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm going to go in over here with some water. As I said, I want like the colour, I want the colour to mix and all that. Oh, it's a hare. Are you sure it's not a rabbit? So I'm going to go in here and just get smushing around. Oh, I forgot to say that if you're going to be doing something that's like incredibly wet, you need to make sure that you're using a heavy-bodied paper. So I'm using a mixed media paper. So either something like that or a watercolor paper, something that's going to take lots of water, guys. Because if you're going to abuse the paper, make sure that it's going to take your abuse. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I don't want to put too much colour there because, as I said, I want to make it into a journal card. I've got splats on my cup, my teacup. So I sincerely hope that none of those splats. Oh, that wasn't dry there. I sincerely hope none of those splats went into my tea. Look at that, abusing it, abuse with lots of water. That gum there's not dry either. Excellent. We're going to work with that. I'm going to work through it, see what happens. Gonna work through it. You never know. I love what's going on there. Love that. Let's go in with some more colours. Let's go in with some more colours. The great thing about using a heat gun to dry your work is that it dries quicker. The downside to using a heat gun is that sometimes like watercolour can look scorched. Has that kind of look of being dried, looks scorched, and also it will move around. So if you really like how it looks and the intensity of how it looks, when you use a heat gun, it starts to blow the liquid around and it changes it. So the heat guns are great at the right time, but also you know, you need to kind of appreciate that they do also change the look of things. So I'm going in, this is another awesome, epically awesome brush, an 18 round, number 18, and I'm going to do some more splatting. So I want the colours to mix. This, I'm using the Prima Essence collection, and that colour is 104 Nirvana. Not entirely happy with how it looks with the lime, but c'est la vie. I want to get up to round this gum, otherwise it was pointless using the gum. And I feel like we need a bit over here just to tie it all in, almost like a vignette. Although in hindsight I probably wouldn't do that again. Okay, cool. Right, what else do I want? I feel like we need some deeper, I feel like we need to go deeper and darker. So I might go blue actually. And I think I'm gonna go for eternity rather than creation. Let's see. This is just an experimental abstract process which you guys are joining me on. Yes, this is it. You are joining me on this process of play and abstract art. I want to get it deeper and darker in this bit here. All around. And with watercolours, sometimes once they dry, they're a lot. Oh, got a lot of pooling going on here. Sometimes when they dry, they become a lot paler, and so you can always go back in with more. Paint. Okay, so you can see that I've used so much water, my paper is warping, and where it's warping, we're getting quite a lot of pooling going on here. That's where like it's just everything's just running off into that crevice. Okay, so I am actually going to give this a little bit of a blast with the heat gun, just because I want to. It's difficult when you're doing a video as to when you're actually doing some art as well for yourself. Have I got any tissue? Yeah, I've got a bit of tissue there. I'm going to mop up some of this here because I wanted this base a bit clearer for the journal card. Oh, I've lost some of my tissue paper. There we go. Okay, right, give that a blast with a bit of a heat gun. Okay, so we do have that little scorchy look, and the watercolour's gone a lot paler than I wanted it to, and it's all a bit meh. Now, one of the ways that you can get a richer intensity of watercolour is using less water on your brush. but I'm actually going to go in with a bit of a darker colour. So I'm going to go in with this Adore here, this browny colour, and see what we can get going on. Ugh. No. I'll just block that out a bit. Ugh. Did not like that. Did you guys like that? No. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's think about this. Going with a much richer green, I think. This is the Odyssey collection, and I'm going to use Jamaica. Let's see. The problem when you... That's a bit better. The problem when you use the gum as well, though, is because it kind of distorts your picture, because you look at it and you're like, oh, that blue, I'm not sure about that blue, but when it comes off, remember, that's going to be white. But yeah, it does kind of distort your impression of your overall piece, to be honest. There's a movement of leaves in there. So yeah, it's quite weird when you use your gum. It's very hard to kind of get your head around the fact that that's not going to be blue when you finished. When you finished, it's going to be, you know, totally, well, not totally white, because sometimes there's little gaps in the gum, but it's going to, you know, it's not going to be blue is what I'm saying. It's not going to be blue when you're done. Oh, what have I picked up there? I picked up a different, my neighbouring colour there. That's the beauty of using a big brush, or the pain of whatever, you know, if you're happy for, you're quite into having some happy accidents, that's good. I'm going to go crazy and add a bit of purple. Get some depth in there. Not loads, just a bit. Just to... Oh, that was blue. Wrong one, Anna. Bit of depth in there, bit of shadow going on there. Okay. What else do I need? Just blot those out. Let's go in with a bit of blue, blue splats. Okay. Yeah, I quite like how this is going, I have to say. A lot of art is experimentation, even when you think you know what you're going to be doing. So move that purple around a bit. Just wanted to give it just a little bit of darker. So now when you're using the gum as well, it's really nice to use a darker colour next to where your gum is, because then you'll have a bit of a brighter contrast between your white and your dark. So that's quite a nice thing to do. Okay. Okie dokie. So, sorry, I was just having a thought processing moment. I might go with a bit of grey. A few bits of grey. I do like splats. Do like using splats because they end up going in places where you perhaps wouldn't have put them, and sometimes there can be some really nice little happy little accidents, as I like to call them sometimes. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a dark. Oh, do I go with a dark? Just a bit of, oh no, not brown. Oh no. No, I thought that was going to look good, but it doesn't, which is fine. And mop that up, and then go in with a bit more green just to cover that bit up there. Right, I'm going to give this a little bit of a a little bit of a zap, not too much, because I don't want the colours to move around too much. Right, so we're nicely dry there. I thought I would have a bit of an experiment with some acrylic. I've got some bits of, is it anaglypta? Is that what they call it? I can't remember now. Wallpaper, different lines on, in my mixed media collection, you know. And so I thought I'd have a bit of an experiment. All about the play. I'm going to go with this big bold one. And I'm going to, what do we got? What colour is this? Hooker's Green. What a name, eh? What a name. Let's use this bit of scrap as a little makeshift palette for now, because my desk, as ever, is, you know, my desk. Okay, I'm just going to brush it on here. My paintbrush is quite wet because I recently washed my brushes and I didn't dry them. Okay, I'm just gonna, wish me luck. Let's do a bit of stamping. Ooh, there we go. Try and make it a bit like stalks or grass. There we go, that's pretty cool. Oh, give that a smush down. Yeah, nice one. Don't like that there though. See if I can. No. Okay, so I've also got this final one and an ink pad. I'm hoping this ink pad still has some life in it. Yeah, just about. So go. Not sure I like that, but never mind. It's always remember to try and put some ink. If you've done something, try and do it somewhere else on the page so it kind of ties it all in nicely. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all cool because the art making process is all about having fun and enjoying the process, not necessarily about the end result. Okay, I've got this acrylic ink and I'm gonna do some splats with it. Is it Snowdrops? Trying to give like a bit of an illusion of some snow maybe. And just because nothing is complete without some splats. There we go. Bit of mystique going on. Get you some down here. Oh, big bits. Probably loads of that in my tea. Okay, that will do. That will do. Right, more drying, and then I'm going to try and get some of the definition going on in the branches. Just need to try and find the tops of these. So I'm in there. This is nice, this pen. I like it. I do like it. Right, I've totally lost all those lines that I put in. That's okay. Just put them in. Just put them in now. Just go back and put them in where we think they're gonna go. Okay. I like the look of this. I'm not sure. I hope it doesn't fade when it dries, because I really like how that I really like that colour. And I like the intensity that we've got going on and the contrast. It's not too, you can see it, but it's not too like in your face, contrasty kind of thing. I really like that. Do really like that. Clean that pen off a bit because I went over the gum there. And over some wet acrylic. So yeah, if you're using stuff like that, stuff's not dry, always clean your nibs off. Okay, so here we go. Just adding a few like extra, few little movement lines. Right, now here comes a bit where you've got to rub off all your gum, and the thing is we also used blue watercolour, so it's knowing which bits is gum and which bits are watercolour. So that bit there's watercolour, that bit there's gum, yeah, that bit there's gum. Now this, how's this going to work down here? Oh, that works okay. I was a bit worried because I smudged all of that that gum down there. I was a bit worried that wasn't going to come off, but it did. So you need to, when it comes to rubbing off your gum, guys, you need to make sure that everything is fully dry, otherwise you will smudge it. Many a painting I have cried over because my painting hasn't been fully dry before rubbing out my gum. Okay, so any more little blobbies? Okay. I'm actually a bit scared now to do the flowers. Here we go. Oh, so satisfying. There's a flower. Okay, my ink that I used wasn't quite dry, so in rubbing it I've smudged it down, but you know what? I was going to put some shading in anyway, so it's kind of worked in my favour. It is good. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Hello, little beauties. So what do you guys think? Were you like, oh, this is not going to work, Anna? Like, oh, yeah. Oh, look how pretty they are. Oh, they are so pretty, aren't they? I'm just... And that putting that dark under there just works so well. I'm going to very delicately, I hope the word is here, just going to put a little bit of that acrylic ink on there. I don't want to put too much on there actually, because I think they're looking quite pretty as they are, you know, and I like that you can just sort of see the pencil lines. Yeah, so I don't want to overdo that because I think they're looking cute. I'm just gonna zap that just to dry that. Right, so I'm gonna get this green out again. Snowdrops have like right in the middle petal, they have like two little notches, and then they have like a little smiley face thing going on. Ta-da! What do we think, guys, then? What do we think? It's gonna like, they're just a bit too perfect. That's a bit better. Bit too perfect and a bit too bright. Bit too perfect and a bit too bright. So, what do I want? What do I want? I want to just cover this little gap here in a bit more line. Put a bit more lime up there. So brighten that, because that's where that gum was, but it looked really bright. And then, yeah, what do I want to do with that? Don't know. Yeah, I'll use a bit of watercolour, I think, just to put those little. Where did that brush go? I had a really good brush then. It went, disappeared, and another one. There we go. There we go. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of watercolour in just for those. This is the Prima Classics, and it's number 6. They didn't name the Prima Classics. The problem is, like, I'm starting to get that again, that, like, I wanted them to look more natural rather than kawaii. Than like little smiley faces, but they do have little that's it, just blot it so it's not so intense. That's better. I didn't want like the faces to be like massively standy outy, you know. I'm gonna see about just this grey, just a little bit of grey, just to separate that again. There we go. I'm calling that done, guys. I'm calling that done. I hope you enjoyed this process, and I hope you give it a go yourself, and I would really like to see how you get on. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy snowdrops!